Good evening, race fans, and welcome to race number 8 of the Sim Racers Edge Alpha Series. Presented by ecency.com, we are here today for the Georgia is for Peaches 175, here today at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Joined alongside myself is Rick Ravon, with Team Goon Squad bringing you the action here in 1080p 60 frames a second. My name is Mason Heimbaugh, and I hope you all are excited and ready for the action here today at Atlanta. Rick, what are your thoughts on Atlanta Motor Speedway, and what do you expect for out of these racers here tonight?
Oh man, I'm telling you, I expect an exciting race. I mean, if you thought the Gateway was fun, right? Look at that right there on the screen right away. We're in qualifying, and we're looking at who's in the purple and white car. Still getting familiar with all of these different paint schemes. Somebody just looped it out of the pits, but like I was going to say, this is going to be an exciting race. If you thought Gateway was good, this one's going to be great. There's going to be side-by-side action. There's going to be cars all over the place. There's going to be tire wear, and I'll tell you what, we're probably going to have a few wrecks here tonight too, because it's not easy to get around this place. It's a tough place to get around on fresh tires, but when those tires start to go away, these guys are going to be feather footing it through those corners.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, it's always interesting to see just how much really the racing line changes on a track like Atlanta here in these IR-18s. It's very, very interesting to see just how much the tire wear really does affect these cars on these oval courses. So really going to have to be paying attention to that here tonight, and I think really pit stops are going to be the name of the game here. You're going to have to be on top of those to keep yourself on top of the grid here. But as the majority of the field making their way out onto the track here to start their qualifying laps here today, it's Chris Simard in the 77 machine with currently the best time on the top of the field right now with a 24.97. Just out in front of him, or just behind him rather, Brett Beasley and Yari Bupatcher, both with the same time of a 25.01. So pretty
Beasley
close
was
times.
the fastest driver in practice, incidentally, so I'm not surprised to see him right up there.
Yeah, myself here just arrived a little bit ago, so I didn't get to see a whole lot of the practice before the start of the race here today, but Rick was able to get a little bit more insight and see how these drivers were getting ready, getting prepared for the race here today at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Now, Atlanta, pretty fast track, I do have to say, and right now we're seeing top speeds of about 230 miles an hour currently at this point in time. So very, very fast circuit that we're going to be racing at here today, and really a lot of high-speed action that I expect to see out of these drivers here today. So I'm going to be a little on my feet here today, Rick. I fully expect to see some really solid wheel-to-wheel action here for today's race.
Well, you know what's interesting? What we didn't expect to see, car number 43, Butch Davis, car number 2, Nate Siefker, and Chad Simpson. They were not at the top of the chart. Instead, you had names like Beasley, Jeff Hollingsworth, Chris Walker, Dan Bracington, Lyle Stearns, and Jeffrey Roulette. They were all at the top, and then Chad, Butch, and Nate were following them. So what's happening here? I've said it before, the oval tracks are the great equalizer. Those who are masters on the road course, like Nate Siefker, you come here, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, what happened? I'm not nearly as far ahead of the pack as I was, so keep your eyes on this one. This is going to be a tricky race. You mentioned pit stops. I got to tell you, it's going to be very tricky to get in and out of the pits. The administration is allowing the drivers to pit off of turn 4, which if we have green flag pit stops, which I'm not saying it's not likely, but with the nature of this track, how difficult it is to get around, we may not see. There's a possibility that we won't see green flag pit stops, but if they do pit off of turn 4, and that's going to be tricky getting into the pits, but even worse than that, getting out of the pits. We've got to keep an eye on these drivers as they try to get out of the pits. There's a nasty bump just as you exit turn 2 that can easily throw the car sideways. And I've seen 15 drivers in this field in practice get sideways and completely loop the car coming out of the pits. Meanwhile, Chad Simpson goes to the top of the chart, finally showing some speed. He didn't show the speed that he normally has in practice, but Chad Simpson runs a 24.970. Chris Simard second, 24.976, only 6 thousandths of a second slower than Simpson, and then just another 2 thousandths of a second slower than Simard is Butch Davis. third place. Jeff Hollingsworth, 25.004. He's fourth quick right now.
Yeah, and just rounding out the top 5, it's going to be Brett Beasley currently. So what I'm noticing right now, Rick, is these guys are very, very tight as far as pace right now in their qualifying. Now, as qualifying is wrapping up here, drivers are going to have a quick moment with the race control, get their drivers meeting out of the way before we get the starting grid up on your screens here today. But kind of getting back on my point here, and it's already eluding me already, Rick. I'm ready to go racing here already, Rick.
Oh, so am I. I can't wait to watch this race. I mean, when the cars are stuck like glue, for example, let's say, these are the IR-18s. The DW12 was the Indy car that preceded these cars, and they were really just stuck like glue. You could flat-foot it around just about any oval. Not all of them, but most of them. And it made for close racing. But here's the thing. When you have the IR-18 and you don't have the grip that you used to have in the DW12, and then you get to a track like Atlanta, the surface of this racetrack hasn't been paved in a very long time. It's very bumpy, which of course can also upset the balance of the race car, and there's not a lot of grip out there. You could try to dial in as much grip as you want to, but it's just not there. It's still going to be a struggle. So I can't wait to see the way this one plays out. Tire wear is going to be a huge factor, and also the draft, staying out of the draft. The car's going to push like crazy when you get behind somebody. It may stick pretty good for the first several laps, but then after that, you're going to have you're going to struggle out there. So I can't wait for this one to get started.
Yeah, absolutely. We were just having a quick view there with Timmy Bates, who was doing pretty well there. There was a little bit of a three-way battle happening there for just a moment in this warm-up. And we got a really good view there of Timmy Bates coming out of turn 4 right down into pit road. And that kind of gives you an idea of what Rick mentioned a little bit earlier, how that entry coming into pit road out of 4, it's a little spicy. And you saw, if you were paying attention on your screens, you saw the 21 of Timmy Bates lock up those rear tires as he was coming in, trying to slow that car down to avoid a speeding penalty. Now, in a warm-up session, not as much of a big deal. In a race session, absolutely critical that you do not come into the pits too fast. You will catch a speeding penalty, and that is not how any of these drivers want to have their race ended here tonight.
I guarantee you we're going to see, I'm going to make a prediction. We're going to see at least 3 cars spin coming out of the pits. 3 to 5, I would say. It really is that tricky. And when you're trying to get out of course, under green. If you're under yellow, obviously you're not going to be in a rush to get out. But if we do have green flag pit stops, you'll probably see 3 to 5 guys actually spin it coming out of the pits. It is very tricky out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And right now, looking at things currently, we're expecting to see pit laps of around 35 to 38 laps. So I'm really interested to see how these guys are ultimately going to handle being on these tires for this long. Again, you said it yourself, Rick, that these tires are going to be quite tricky to manage once that tire wear starts to. Here we go. That was a great view of Chad Simpson coming into pit road, and he even had. It looked like he looked pretty. He had a good amount of speed, but it still was just a little bit too fast. It seemed like. So these drivers really going to have to be very, very careful coming out of 4 and making sure that they're ultimately slowing themselves down, but not collecting themselves in with anybody else. So. Very interesting to see that.
Spun coming out of the pits as well. Yep, he just spun coming out.
Timothy Bates.
It was about 30, 45 seconds ago, but yeah, he looped it. He went all the way around.
Yeah, so I think that's what we're going to see a lot of here tonight, Rick. There's going to be definitely some struggles that drivers are going to have here. But what I'm really curious to see, though, is are we going to have any kind of underdogs here tonight? Are there going to be anybody in the field that's maybe had kind of a rough few weeks and wants to come back and have a good race here at Atlanta? Sometimes after kind of midway through the season, you kind of get some of those, like I said, underdogs that come out of the field and out of the woodworks and really start to perform well towards the end of the season here. Do you think there's anyone in this field right now that stands out to you that might be in that
An underdog? Well, look at the top of the chart. I mean, this is the warm-up session, but look who's on the top, Mike Grandy. When was the last time we heard that name running at the top of the chart? I haven't really seen him much in the top 10 lately. And Kevin Young, there's a new name to the series. Kevin Young, he sits in second. So if that's any indication, those two guys right there, they could be front runners today.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's always great to see that, too. Having new faces come into the league, as well as just drivers who have kind of been in the mid-pack, work their way up into the front and really start to contend with the guys running in the front pack. Now, right now, as we just have the checkered flag flying for our warm-up session, we are going to have our starting grid up on your screen in just a moment. And there it is. Chad Simpson in the 42 machine with Satellite Racing going to be starting out in first place, with Chris Samard in the 77 starting out in second place. Rounding out your first row, Butch Davis in the 43 with FBR Motorsports. Starting off in third place, Jeff Hollingsworth in the 97 in fourth place. Rounding out your second row, Brett Beasley in the 69 in fifth place at the moment. Yari Brupatcher in the 89 going to be in sixth place. Rounding out your third row, Lyle Swearingen in the 68 going to be in seventh. Bentley Glazer in the number 4 machine in 8th place, Timmy Bates in 9th place, Jose Phillips in 10th, Jeffrey Rowlett in 11th, Chris Walker in 12th place. Rick, why don't you round us out here?
Okay, unlucky number 13. That's where Nate Siefker is starting. Incidentally, Nate Siefker, the points leader, took it over from Butch. I want to point this out really quick. He's going for 4 wins in a row today, and he starts in 13th place. Could that be a bad omen for him? We'll have to wait and see. Mark McFadden starting after that, and Jack Turner in 15th. Jake Walsh is 16th. Dan Bracington. Dan's daughter has been sick. She has sort of a stomach bug, so let's wish her well. Her daddy, Dan, starts in 17th. Mike Grandy, who was fastest in warm-up that we just saw, he's starting in 18th. Ron Holyfield, no relation to Evander. Of course, that's Hollifield, not Holyfield. He starts in 19th. Ernie Ludwig is 20th. 21st, Kevin Young. He was second on the chart. There you go, all the way back in the field. He was second on the chart in warm-up. He starts 21st. Kevin O'Brien will be 22nd. Shane Loveridge, 23rd. And Ryan Cruz, looking for Ryan Cruz. I don't see him. He's supposed to start 24th, scheduled to start 24th, but I don't see him out there.
Yeah,
and that's the starting grid.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. The 99 Ryan Cruz, not exactly sure if he's having some other issues on his end that's preventing him to start the race here today. We'll have to find out from that 99 machine if that was the case here today. But here we are, folks, lining up behind the pace car, getting ourselves ready for the start of the Georgia is for Peaches 175. Pace car drops down into pit road. Why don't you take us to green, Rick?
Green.
Green flag flies, and we're racing in Atlanta. They're off. Here they go. Chad Simpson right away jumps into the lead. Chris Samard second. Butch Davis is third. Jeff Hollingsworth is fourth, but he's instantly challenged by Brett Beasley.
Oh, no.
Gets around, and Butch Davis takes over second place. And we've got an accident. We've got an accident coming off two. And it looks like Lyle Swearingen is involved. And let's take a look and see who else is involved. Swearingen, Chris Walker. Chris Walker is involved. We'll go back and take a look. Ernie Ludwig also may have been involved. But we're going to take a look on the replay in just a minute. Chris Walker gets it. Well, no, he's going to tow back to the pits. Chris Walker. Now, remember, there are no fast repairs in this series. So Chris Walker might be done for the day. This is certainly going to hurt his chances to win the race. He's going to lose a couple of laps right here. Lyle Swearingen on his way to the pits. There's the replay. As you can see, Swearingen gets sideways. We have a car. That's Chris Walker's already up against the wall. We'll bring it back. Maybe there was a little contact. No, I think it looks like Swearingen got the left sides on. Yep, you don't want to do that. Oh, and then the avoidance maneuver, and that's what put Chris Walker up into the wall. You definitely want to keep those left sides away from the paint. And look at that. Swearingen almost took out another car as he tried to get going again.
Yeah, that was very, very close for Swearingen there as he was trying to make his way back out onto the track, or safely back into the track. But yeah, that was very close contact there. Lap 4 of 175, Rick, and it's already the first caution that we've had here at Atlanta, and I'm sure It's the first of let me think wisely about my choice of words here, Rick. I don't want to curse us.
Yeah, it's the announcer's curse, right? You always want to be careful. Look, every time they say, "Oh, cautions breed cautions," I'm like, "Don't say that! You don't want to say that. You're gonna jinx everything." But we've got Chad Simpson in the lead, and it's funny. I talked to Chad before the race. I try to make my way around the garage area and talk to as many drivers as I can and get whatever information I can get from them. I said to Chad, "You know what, Chad? It's about time you stepped it up a little bit. Let's see what you can really do, man. You're the defending series champion, and you've been up there. You've been consistent, but I think you need to turn it up a notch." And he was like, "Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I will." And here he is leading the race. So he's doing great. Teammate Butch Davis runs in second. Chris Samard ever so smoothly runs in third. Jeff Hollingsworth, one of my favorite people in the series, runs in fourth place. Brett Beasley, with probably the coolest last name in the world, Beasley. I love that name. Beasley. I just love it. He's running fifth. Yari Brupatcher is in sixth. Bentley Glazer is seventh. Jake Walsh is eighth. Jeffrey Roulette runs in ninth. And rounding out the top 10, can you believe it? We have to watch this kid come up through the field. And, of course, I say kid because I'm the old man here. He's a kid to me. Nate Siefker, your points leader. He's running in 10th place. I still can't believe that.
Yeah, Nate Siefker here really has just, the whole season, Siefker has just been on top of his game. I mean, he's had a couple races, maybe not the best start, maybe not the best overall race that he wanted to have, but Siefker really has, he's shown a lot of really solid competition here in this series, not only both on the ovals, but even in the road courses as well. Siefker has shown pretty good promise in really the whole series, and really he's obviously shown a lot of dominance here on the oval. So right now already in 10th place from that 13th place spot that we saw him in at the start of the race here today. So Siefker already working his way up this field very quickly, and I expect to see that number 2 machine in the top 5 here, assuming we have probably another 10 or so green flag laps, excuse me.
Meanwhile, we've got Chris Walker still in the pits. 3.5 minutes he's been there. Lyle Swearingen comes back into the pits. Shane Loveridge, Ernie Ludwig, they're all in right now. And so could this be a strategy play for fuel? I can't imagine. Honestly, I can't imagine if fuel will come into play in this race because, like I said, we're probably going to see a few cautions. And I think we were 2 or 3 laps in when we got the first one. So we're probably going to see a few more. I don't know if fuel mileage is going to come into the play until maybe the second to the last pit stop. If things are going smooth from that point, then you can start judging your fuel. But right now, I wouldn't even make a fuel play. I don't think it's going to. I don't think it's going to have a positive effect at this point.
It's yeah, and I gotta agree with you there, Rick. I think it's just too early in the race. Again, we're only on lap 6. These guys have hardly even burned through the fuel that they started with to begin with, and we talked about it a little bit before we went green here. Tire wear is going to be the biggest factor for these drivers. These guys are going to be fighting these tires sooner than they're going to be worrying about that fuel, and ultimately that's the biggest game that they're going to be playing here is how long can I push these tires and maintain my pace without risking being overtaken by another driver or spinning myself out because I'm pushing myself too hard into a turn. And we've already seen it a number of times, drivers spinning out just by being in the wrong spot on the track. So it's absolutely possible here that we could see some drivers making that critical mistake of just trying to push it a little bit too long on a single set of tires here. But we'll see. It's still very early in the race, and right now only a few drivers have made it down into the pits at the start of this race here. So curious to know exactly why we have all these drivers coming down into pit road this early, but I think, Rick, you kind of hit the nail on the head. It might just be a little bit of fuel strategy here, quite possibly. I don't exactly know that for 100% certain, but we'll ride with it. We'll assume that's what's happening here.
Yeah. Meanwhile, lights are out on the pace car coming through turn 4. He's about to make that sharp left turn, and I've never seen a pace car make a sharper left turn than those pace cars that I race. Here they go, down into the pits, and Chad Simpson's going to bring us back to green. Green flag flies. Chad Simpson still in the lead. Butch Davis moves up 1 spot from his 3rd starting position. Meanwhile, Nate Siefker has moved up 3 spots. Now he moves up another one. He's up to 9th place, but Butch Davis is starting to get closer. And now Davis to the inside, and Davis picks up the lead. Did Chad let him by? I don't know. He does play that good teammate role, but he didn't do that at Road America. He said he's going to race for it, and that's exactly what he did. So here comes Chad. Chad comes right back underneath Davis, and Chad picks up the lead. You know, Butch Davis in that STP oil treatment special, of course, that nickname comes from the Gordon Johncock car from the 80s. Big, huge Richard Petty fan. And what is Richard Petty known for? He's running the Petty line, they call it. The Petty line is running the outside of the racetrack. They said, well, why do you do it? He said, well, because it won't hurt as much as if I hit the wall. Pretty smart, but you know what? It's also a pretty quick way to get around an oval. Certain ovals, you know, to keep that momentum up. You can expect Butch Davis, who is a huge Richard Petty fan, probably to start running that high line. And as I say it, there he goes.
Yeah, Butch Davis seems to already have a little bit of a game plan here for today's race. Lap 11 of 175 as we cross the line here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Butch Davis down on the inside going into turn 1 around the 42 of Chad Simpson. Both these teammates here kind of just doing a little bit of swapping back and forth here. You know, I think right now, these two drivers right now, they're just kind of like, all right, you lead a lap, I'll lead a lap, you lead a lap, you know, just kind of going back and forth and just having a little bit of fun here. But, Rick, do you think that also it could be a little bit of maybe even, I don't know, possibly a tire-saving strategy somehow in some way?
I don't know. I mean, you know, if you're in clean air, obviously you're not going to be scrubbing the tires. These two in front are going to be in clean air for at least 1 lap apiece, and they keep trading back and forth. The guy who's probably struggling right now is Chris Samard. He's a half a second back. And being as though he has 2 cars. Wait, we have another yellow.
Oh,
yellow flag.
Lyle Swearingen back around again. He's involved in another incident here. The 68 machine not having the best race here at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Wow. This is your Iowa winner we're talking about. So Swearingen obviously has the skill to compete at the front of the field, and he's just not having a good day today.
Yeah, and look at this. You can see, I believe that is, who is that? I think that's Kevin O'Brien behind him, if I'm not mistaken.
He's communicating with his pits right now. Let me see if I can listen in.
So it looks like Lyle, a little bit of contact from the rear. I think that was either Kevin O'Brien or Shane Loveridge. It seemed to be. I could be mistaken on that. But either way, the 68 Lyle Swearingen, his second incident for today's race. That is going to put the 68 down into 22nd place right now, down 15 spots from where he started at the beginning of this race. And right now, it does not look like that 68 is going to be coming out of the pits here anytime soon. As look at this.
He just simply got loose coming off turn 2. That was it.
We have the field.
You have roll bars and weight jackers, and I think he may have cranked it a little bit too much. Made the car a little too loose because he got squirrely coming off too and then just lost it. He just keyed up and said to Shane Loveridge, no, you had nothing to do with that. That was all me. Okay,
so it was Shane Loveridge that was behind him, but it definitely did look like there might have been a little bit of contact there, but you heard it here first.
Ron Hollifield takes the lead.
Yeah, Ron Hollifield, as we have the entire field coming down into pit road here. I don't exactly know what for. It's only lap 14. We're not even halfway through our expected pit cycle here, so maybe just topping off on fuel here, just giving them a little bit more fuel to work with. I didn't see anyone get up on all fours, so I don't know if anyone came out on any fresh set of tires here. Looks like pit stop times right now, pit times are right now about 9 seconds, so I don't think anyone got any fresh set of tires here. Just
meanwhile,
fuel.
Look who's at the front of the field.
Nate
There you
Seeker.
go. There he is, back at the front. You expected it sometime, but this, of course, is through the shuffling of pit stops. So Nate is the only one, actually, who hasn't pitted. Tim Bates pitted 10 laps ago. Jose, and I guess we're saying Phillips. We're going to leave out Miguel and Vergara. Jose Phillips, he pitted 10 laps ago, and everybody else in the field pitted within the last lap. So Nate Siefker's out there on, it looks like 16 laps on those tires, but I think most of those are under yellow. So It's going to be interesting to see if Nate, in the clean air on the older tires, I wouldn't say old tires, but older tires, if he's going to be able to keep that car out in front. He's got Tim Bates right behind him with only 5 laps fresher tires. Will it make that much of a difference? I don't know. Jose Phillips is in third. Butch Davis, Butch Davis and Chad Simpson running 4th and 5th. They might come charging through the field. So this is going to be interesting. You might see the former points leader, Butch Davis, coming up to challenge the current points leader, Nate Siefker, for the lead.
Yeah, right now as we're coming down the back straight into turn 3, Butch Davis here as well, he has done an incredible job in this season. And after having a couple races where he's been able to stay at least in the top 5, but really just ultimately has not been able to keep himself up in the front, given these road courses that we've seen, and just very difficult time that a lot of these drivers have had in those road courses. So we've seen quite a few different drivers that have kind of improved over the course of those races, have shown a lot of improvement in those races specifically. But Butch Davis here he's got a lot to kind of overcome here before the end of the season if he wants to get himself back up into the points lead again for the championship. He's only got Nate Siefker really to worry about at this point in time, but he's got to buckle in here and see what he can do here in these final few races, as I believe there's only 5 races left in the series.
Yeah, Lyle Swearingen, incidentally, still in the pits. He's been there for 4 minutes. He might be done for the day. Let me see if I can go down to the pit area and locate him. I'll be right back.
All right, and as Rick heads on down to pit lane to find the 68 driver of Lyle Swearingen and see if we can get an interview here with the 68 driver and just kind of get a little bit of thoughts and opinions on what it's like here at Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Georgia is for Peaches 175. As the pace car dives down into pit road, we're going to be going to green here, lap 18 of 175. The green flag flies. Nate Siefker right off the launch here, doing a fantastic job getting himself away from this field. Timothy Bates following behind in second place, and Jose Miguel. And we have another caution out already. Kevin Young involved in an incident here, but as we have that unfolding here, Rick, I do believe that we have Lyle available for us. So Rick, why don't you take over here and get your thoughts with Lyle here.
I'm down here in the pits with Lyle Swearingen. Lyle, it was only a couple, 2 or 3 laps into the race, and it looks like you got left sides on the paint and spun it. What happened?
I was trying to keep it straight on the start, just trying not getting its way in. Car was pretty loose, or pretty darty at the start on cold tires going into the corner, so I just turned it a little too much, and it just went straight down towards the 8-pin. I got loose, and I think I took out at least one car, maybe another one. So
yeah, that was Chris Walker that you got into, but you didn't get into him actually. Somebody else, to avoid you, got into Chris Walker and sent Walker into the wall, but that's a real tough break. What happened after that? I think we were coming off turn 2 and it got a little squirrely.
It pushed up, probably from the aero wash. I didn't feel like I was close enough to the guy in front of me, but it just pushed up, so it could have either been that or the damage from the previous wreck. But yeah, I slid up in front of I forget who I slid up in front of, and so I just parked it after that and just apologize to the guys I affected in this race today.
All right, well, there'll be better days in the future, Lyle. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Have a good one up there.
Lyle Swearingen, back to you.
All right, and as we're still following along with the pace car here, the lights are still on, so I think we're going to have at least 2 more laps here before we are back to green flag racing. And right before we had that interview with Lyle Swearingen, we saw Kevin Young have a little bit of an incident here. Let's take a look at what happened here in the double O machine of Kevin Young, as looks like coming into turn 1 here, Taking things just a little bit in slow motion here. Going to see exactly what happens for Kevin Young. Everything looks calm and steady right now. Oh, there it is. Looks like there's a little bit of issues up in front. Yeah, we already have drivers sideways. So let's see if we can get a view from Mark McFadden's view here, as that seems to be where the incident started. Yeah, so not exactly sure. I think that was Shane Loveridge. Oh, wow. That is a massive pile up there. 5 drivers all involved in this wreck out of turn 2, in turn 2, rather. That is...
Times that by 3, and you've got your wreck from Las Vegas in 2011.
That is... oh, gosh. That is a rough one. And so already we've had... wow.
Well, Mason, I'm down here in the garage area with Chris Walker, who's called it a day. And, Chris, it looked like maybe Lyle got a little bit loose out there, and then somebody went up to avoid him and collected you?
That's kind of what I remember. Yeah, they kind of tried to split us and got into it and then came up into me. Just feel real bad for the Voodoo team again, letting them down. But we're getting it fixed. We're getting back out there. Put us a few laps down, but we're just going to try to pluck them off and maintain a good finishing position for tonight.
Well, we'll see how many points you could salvage out of today, and we'll wish you better luck at Homestead, Miami.
I appreciate it. I need that luck bell to start ringing my direction.
Okay. Thank you, Chris. All right. That was Chris Walker. Back to the leader of the race, still Nate Siefker. You can see him right there behind the pace car. Let's take a look. Tim Bates is still in second place. Jose Phillips still in third. Davis, Simpson, that's your top 5. Nothing has changed. Nobody really had a chance to get around anybody. The yellow came out almost instantly after the green. But the good news, I guess, if you want to call it good news, is that we have less and less of a chance of a caution the more cars that fall out of this race.
Yeah, and as the field kind of really starts to dissipate, obviously you start to see a little bit less cautions as there's not as much competition on the field for drivers to collect into one another. But there's obviously always still the chance that, self-spins, there's the chance of drivers getting themselves involved in, again, just incidents alone by themselves. So, a few different things here to kind of pay attention to as this race progresses on. Right now, we still have, it looks like, 16 drivers that are still all on the lead lap. Out of the 24 drivers that we've had here as the pace car dives down into pit road, the field is already starting to dwindle here.
Well, we got a spin already.
Oh,
already a spin,
no.
but it's on the inside.
Hollingsworth.
It's Jeff Hollingsworth. He spun coming back to... Boy, I told you this track was tricky. I had no idea just how tricky it was going to be. Jeff Hollingsworth brings it back onto the racetrack and up to speed, and it looks like we're not going to get a yellow flag. The field continues under green, and Nate Siefker still with the lead. So we'll wait and see what happens with him. Can Davis and Chad Simpson on those fresh tires run him down? Or can Nate Siefker in the clean air hang on to the lead? He's got Tim Bates about 0.3 of a second behind him. Bates might even be able to run Siefker down, so we'll have to wait and see what happens. Butch Davis runs a low line going down. Oh, look at this, 3 wide. Butch Davis. And who was that? Chad Simpson, Samard, Brett Beasley. Beasley came around and picked up the spot. That was some good racing. Davis is starting to fall back a little bit, but you can't really blame him because he's got to play it a little bit safe here. In the aero and as slippery as this track is, you can't really push it. It's way too early for that. I'm sure that Davis is probably just saying, let me get to the end of this dang thing, for crying out loud.
Absolutely. Right now, Butch Davis wheel to wheel with Chris Samard here in the 77 machine going into turn 1. Davis able to edge himself out just enough in front of that 77 to Chris Samard, but Chris still trying everything he can. He's going to fall back behind the rear wing of the 43 of Butch Davis.
Let's go to the front of the field. Let's go quickly to the front of the field. Tim Bates is right there, and he's challenging Nate Siefker for the lead. I'm sorry, Mason, I didn't mean to interrupt. Here he comes. Tim Bates is looking for the lead. And Tim Bates is going to get it. Tim Bates comes around our points leader, Nate Siefker, and picks up the lead here at Atlanta.
And one interesting thing to note here as well, Rick, Timothy Bates set the fastest lap this time around, 24.87 seconds that Timothy Bates came around that last time around with Nate Siefker on his tail. And right now, Nate seems to be kind of just letting off that throttle just by a little bit. But even right as I say that, coming down the front straight, Siefker down on the inside. He's able
it
to.
Doesn't look like that.
So it was definitely a little interesting to see that pop up here in our timing and scoring, to see that Timothy Bates is just absolutely pushing that 21 machine around Atlanta Motor Speedway as quickly as he is, staying right on the tail of Nate Siefker here, really the only challenger that Siefker has at this point. Lap 29 of 175 here, and we are still green flag racing. Drivers seem to have settled out here as we continue with our race here for the Georgia is for Peaches 175, brought to you by ecency.com.
That's right, and it looks like we only have 17 cars left in the field. We started with 23. We're down to 17, so that's a loss of 6 cars, I believe, if my math is correct. It couldn't be that stupid. Butch Davis and Chris Samard, actually Chad Simpson, are going at it. Chad Simpson just came around Butch and picked up 3rd place, but Butch is going to come right back at Chad. Maybe they feel like if they switch back and forth and they swap draft, maybe they can catch the leader, who is currently Nate Siefker. Tim Bates starts to fall back just a bit, and that's an interesting view right there. This is the world's fastest. What are those things with the 4 helicopter blades? What are they called?
The drones.
The world's fastest drone. This drone can actually go 235 miles an hour. Now, if these cars go 240, they're going to lose the drone, but fortunately, they're in the 210 to 220 mile an hour range at the moment. But look at that drone go.
The world's fastest drone here at Atlanta Motor Speedway with Team Goon Squad here. Great view, kind of a different perspective for the folks at home. Kind of gives you a little bit of kind of like riding alongside with the drivers here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, kind of from afar, if you will. But
yeah, I'd like to point out, Goon Squad's the only one that has that drone, and all the other sim racing broadcast stations would love to get a hold of it and know the secret, but we'll never tell.
Absolutely. And right now, the action here starting to settle out for the drivers up top. At the top of the field here, Nate Siefker able to get himself with just a little bit of a comfortable gap between himself and Timmy Bates. Just about a quarter of a second separates these two.
Oh. You saw Nate get his left side wheels on the paint, and we saw what happened to Swearingen when he tried to do that, and he went around. So Nate's got to be careful out there. Look, he's getting the left sides real close to that paint.
Very, very close. And really, Nate Siefker, we've seen him do
Davis
that quite a
lot.
lot. That was
Davis just hit the wall coming off turn 2. I don't know how hard he hit it. Maybe I could take a look on my replay and see. I'm going to look from the cockpit view from the roll bar and see just how hard Butch hit the wall as we continue to watch live. Hang on just a second. Yeah, he hit the wall pretty good with the right side of the car. He's got to have damage. He's got to have damage on the right side of that car. And when he comes into the pits, they're going to have to fix that damage. And how long is that going to take? That was a pretty hard hit. That was a little bit harder. If you remember back in Indianapolis, 1993, Nigel Mansell leading the race. Then he fell back to 3rd and trying to stay up with the leaders. He hit the wall coming off turn 2. Butch hit the wall off turn 2. It was pretty much about that same type of hit.
Yeah, and I got to wonder here if the 43 is going to be suffering a little bit of damage, like you said, to that right-hand side. It looks like even possibly that he might be struggling to hold on to this machine here. Let's see. Let's ride on board here with
They're driving away.
Butch Davis here.
Away from Chris Samard is pulling away. Let's see. Jose Phillips. He's starting to close in on Davis. He's less than a half second behind. I would expect him to be, he's closing in. I would expect him to come around, and then Yari Brubpatcher after that. Butch Davis has got his hands full. Boy, nothing has gone right for Butch in the last several races since he lost the points lead. Nate Siefker's just dominated. Once again, Nate Siefker's at the front of the field, and Butch is about to be passed again. Here comes Jose Phillips to the inside, gets around, no problem whatsoever. Butch now with that damaged race car. Oh, it's wow, look at that. Jose pushes up coming off too. And to the inside, here comes Yari Brubpatcher. He's going to get Davis as well. So Butch Davis continues to slide backwards, and Nate Siefker still leads the race. Tim Bates, by the way, is now right on the back end of Nate Siefker. So this, once again, is a battle for the lead. We'll keep track of your former points leader, Butch Davis, as he continues to slide back. But let's keep an eye on the leaders right now, because this is a great fight. Here comes Bates once again to the inside. Left side wheels almost onto that paint. You don't want to touch that paint. And they're starting to reel in slower traffic. That's Chris Walker, who is 8 laps down. We just spoke with him. He stays to the high side and lets both of the leaders come through. It's a very gentlemanly thing to do. Tim Bates continues to try to chase down Nate Siefker. He got up there for a minute, and now, well, he's only 0.2 of a second back, but this is your battle for the lead, folks.
Yeah, and as we cross the line, lap 41 of 175, I got to imagine that we're going to be expecting to see drivers come down here into pit road probably within the next 5 to 10 laps or so. If I would have to guess here right now, Nate Siefker, the only driver out on the field that has not come down into pit roads. And if remember correctly, our expected pit window is 35 to 38 laps. Now, we did have a few caution laps that Nate Siefker was able to kind of conserve a little bit, conserve those tires, conserve fuel as we made it around with the pace car. But I have a feeling Nate Siefker is going to have to drop down here into pit road, Rick, pretty soon. And for Timmy Bates, who came in lap 4, that first caution that came out at the beginning of the race, I wonder if he's going to come in with our leader or if he's going to try and stay out just a couple laps longer.
Well, Nate should be in. I'm going to predict maybe about 5 more laps. Let's drop back to 4th place quickly, because we've got a battle between Chad Simpson and Chris Simard. Simard in that beautiful 77 car chasing down Chad Simpson in the 42. And incidentally, speaking of Simpson, I was reprimanded after the race last week because I incorrectly said that it was Butch Davis who painted Simpson's car. There goes Simard to the inside. Let's take a look at this. I'll get back to that story in a minute. Simard's going to take over 3rd place. But I was reprimanded by Chad Simpson's mom, Mrs. Simpson. She said, "How dare you? My boy painted his own car. Butch didn't paint that car." I said, "I am so sorry, ma'am. I'm so sorry. I got it wrong. I was apologizing. Up, down, left, and right, diagonal, and center, and everything else." And here, I'm making a retraction right here on the air right now. I am sorry, Mrs. Simpson. Please, for the love of God, forgive me. I got it wrong. I know your son is also a great painter, but Butch has just painted so many cars in this field, and they're such good friends. I thought he painted his car. So, retraction, Chad Simpson painted his own car, and he did a great job.
It does look fantastic. That is that a Pennzoil? Is that what I see on there?
I believe it is.
I believe that is the Pennzoil paint scheme on the 77 machine that we know so well of Chris Simard in the 77. And look at this view of drivers flying by out of turn 2 and down the back straight here. Right now, it's Nate Siefker, our race leader still. Timmy Bates in 2nd place. And look at this. Chad Simpson, Chris Simard duking it out for that 3rd place spot as Simpson around the outside of the 77. Going into turn 1 here, Simpson seems to be using that what was that line that you were mentioning earlier, Rick?
And the Petty line.
The Petty line.
Richard Petty. He probably learned that from Butch. Butch loves Richard Petty. But Chris Simard, there's Chad Simpson still in front. Chad Simpson is your defending series champion. And we're starting to see some of the speed out of Simpson that we saw last season. Nate Siefker, 48 laps on this set of tires, 48 laps since he pitted. As a matter of fact, he hasn't pitted yet. This would be his first pit stop coming, and it should be coming in the next handful of laps. He is due. Now he's pitting in. He just called in. He's called out. He's pitting in right now. Let's watch him carefully as he comes into the pits. It's tricky to get in there. The fronts can lock up easily.
Yeah.
Nate makes it in there perfectly. Tim Bates will pick up the lead. Chad Simpson will move up to 2nd. Simard is 3rd. Butch Davis, incidentally, to keep track of him, he's dropped all the way back to 9th place. Now, the interesting thing, we'll stay on Nate because the field is pretty well spread out, well, except for Chad Simpson and Chris Simard. Another car comes in. That's Chris Walker. No factor for the lead, no factor for this race whatsoever. Keep an eye on Nate. Now, he knows to baby it as he comes out of the pits. We're just going to keep an eye on him. Going through turn 1, he gets a little bit on the banking. There's a terrible bump between 1 and 2. He's babying it. He's babying it. Nice and smooth. And he's able to come out just fine. Well, that's a champion right there. Nate Siefker knows how to get it done. We'll see what happens with the other drivers, as pit stops for them are probably going to come within the next, 8 to 10 laps, maybe a little bit sooner because we did have some yellow laps. But it's going to be interesting. That was the first green flag pit stop we've seen today. We're on lap 51 of 175. So Tim Bates still has the lead, almost 2 seconds over Chad Simpson. We should take a look at that right now because Chris Simard is still there. Chris Simard running the petty line now, all the way up high on the racetrack as he continues to try to chase down Chad Simpson.
Yeah, and one thing I'm noticing here as well, as this race progresses on, a lot of these drivers are kind of adopting that high line. It might even just be
Bates is coming in.
Bates is coming in now.
Bates is coming in. The leader is coming in.
So as we watch here, the leader, the 21 of Timothy Bates, dropping down into pit road. Let's see how he handles his pit road entry.
Okay. No, he did it perfectly.
Very, very good work there from Timmy.
Yes, very careful coming in. We'll keep an eye on him. Chad Simpson now picks up the lead. We haven't seen him lead a race in quite a while. He's been playing it conservative, and he's up there. I think he's up there. He's in third. He's in third place in the championship right now through consistency. Just playing it cool. But there he is, down and away. Now we'll watch as he comes through turns 1 and 2. But you know what? These guys, the guys that run at the front of the field, are just so darn good at what they do. They know what to expect, and they've experienced this pit out here. So I don't expect to see Chad come around. He's just one of those guys who is just, he plays it so perfect. Look, the left sides are sort of on the flat part, and the right sides are on the bank. That could also upset the balance of the car too. But Chad Simpson comes out of the pits, and he does it perfectly.
Yeah, very, very clean. Timothy Bates as well as...
Bates. I'm sorry. Tim Bates comes out.
Yeah, Timothy Bates as well as Nate Siefker both had a very, very clean pit entry as well as exit. We saw Nate Siefker have that little bit of a lockup from the front tires there. Just a little bit, not too bad. Nate Siefker did not receive a penalty for that, though, so able to slow it down, excuse me, just in time to keep that spot that he's currently in at the moment. But Chad Simpson starting to see a little bit of trouble up in front from Chris Simard just behind him. Chris running that bottom line here, trying to stay on the tail of the 42 of Chad Simpson here as right now, Chris Simard actually coming down here into pit road, and that looked very, very close. I'm not sure. It looked like Yari Brupatcher almost came in contact there with Chris Simard for just a moment. That could have been very, very bad here as Chris Simard makes his way down into the pits, and Chad Simpson takes the lead with Yari Brupatcher and Bentley Glazer in the top 3.
The interesting thing here is Nate Siefker is now a lap down. So if the yellow were to come out, he's going to be trapped behind the leader. That's really one way that kind of strategy can bite you. He did lead for quite some time, but timing is everything, and yellows can change everything. Let's watch now. Chris Simard comes out of the pits. Here he goes through turn 2, keeping it on the banked part of the racetrack. He should be okay coming through here, and he makes it out just fine. So great pit stop for Chris Simard. You see Butch Davis come around. Davis has moved up to 7th. Probably dialed his fuel back, trying to stretch it as long as he can. He doesn't want to pit now, not on the green. You definitely don't want to do that. A couple of more cars coming by. Butch Davis, Simard is one of them. And the other car, that pretty purple car, is Tim Bates, the former leader of the race. Now, where's Nate Siefker? Where is Nate Siefker? Let's take a look. Nate Siefker's coming across the start-finish line right now. And he runs in 11th, but now he's not a lap down. He's about 18 seconds behind the leader, who, by the way, is Bentley Glazer. We're starting to see more pit stops, incidentally.
Yeah,
starting to see more pit stops.
Yep.
It looks like Davis is in. Butch Davis is in. Brupatcher's in. Chad Simpson, he's also in the pits right now. So it's getting interesting. We've got the trading of the lead, trading of positions through the pit stops. Let's keep an eye now on Butch Davis, because he has that damage, and how long is it going to take for them to fix that damage? I've got the goggles on Davis right now. It's up to 10 seconds, 11, and still counting. Oh boy, this is really going to cost him a bunch.
Boy.
19, 20 seconds, and that's just in his pit box as somebody slides to a stop behind him.
Looks like the 69.
It's Brett Beasley. Oh, Butch Davis, 32 seconds. This is going to
no.
he's going to be he's already 2 laps down as we speak. I told you that was a solid hit. When I saw it on my replay, boy, he really walloped the right side of that race car. Butch Davis, 45 seconds. 46. I can't believe what I'm seeing. Still in the pits. Jack Turner, by the way, leads the race. He's got 10 seconds over Nate Siefker, but he has yet to pit. And it looks like, yeah, he's coming down right now. And all of these guys are really making great pit stops as Butch Davis finally makes his way out of the pits. That stop for Davis, 57 seconds in the box. 1 minute, 21 seconds total time from pit entrance to pit exit. And Butch Davis, once again, you can't really say he's the victim here. He was a victim in other races, but not this time. Butch Davis kind of made his own mistake there and brushed the wall, and he's got to be kicking himself now.
Yeah, you know, after making a small mistake like that, it's definitely got to be very discouraging, especially when you were leading in the points championship for so long and now kind of having to fight your way back to that lead. Having these small incidents happen to yourself in these races is definitely not what you want to have happen here, as Butch Davis continues to try and recoup anything that he possibly can here from this race, as he's still in 16th place right now, down 13 positions from where he started at the beginning of today's race. So Butch Davis definitely, yeah, Rick, I think after today's race, Butch is going to be cracking one open and to numb the pain, if you will.
Not much of a drinker is Davis. He doesn't smoke pot. He doesn't do drugs. He really doesn't drink. He's high on life and he's high on sim racing. But it's interesting. I want to point out Nate Siefker with the lead. Chris Simard runs in second, and he's almost 10 seconds behind Nate Siefker. Can you believe the luck of this guy, Nate Siefker? He always seems to play it right. You never know when a yellow's going to come out, but they always seem to come out at the right time, and Nate Siefker just happens to play his cards right. Nate Siefker with a 10-second lead stayed out on the older tires, battled up there with Tim Bates. Tim Bates is also 10 seconds behind. He's about to battle with Chris Simard, as a matter of fact. Those two are right together, and Chad Simpson is also right there in fourth place. Behind them, Jari Brupatcher's 5 seconds behind Simpson. But second, third, and fourth are running right together, and that's your closest battle on the racetrack right now.
Yeah, right now as things start to settle out pretty significantly, as drivers have found themselves pretty well spread out here in the course of this race. Looking at the bottom right-hand side of your screen, you can see where all of your favorite drivers are currently on the track, just based on their driver number. As Chad Simpson down on the inside of Timothy Bates here for third place down the back straight. Chad Simpson able to work his way back up into the top three here, but Timothy Bates is also itching to get himself back up into the lead here as these two continue their battle. And Timothy Bates really has had quite the phenomenal race here tonight, Rick. He's shown some very, very phenomenal pace and hasn't backed down from this kind of top 5 area in quite some time. We've seen this 21 machine consecutively stay up here with these guys up here in the lead. So I have a feeling that this might be a battle between Nate Siefker, Timothy Bates, Chad Simpson, Chris Simard, if things go according to plan for these guys.
Yeah, it could be. It definitely could be. Nate Siefker he's just been a magician. I mean, in the last couple of road courses, of course, he was dominant. We always expect that out of Nate. But on the ovals, I always say it evens things out, but still, somehow, some way, Nate Siefker finds his way to the front of the field, and when he gets there, woohoo, is he tough to beat.
Yeah, he's got incredible pace in these IR-18s. Nate Siefker, every single time he gets behind the wheel of these things on an oval, once he's in that clean air, once he's in front, it's pretty much bye-bye Nate Siefker. You're pretty much hoping for a caution at that point to be, to get re-racked and be able to have another chance at trying to get around that number 2 machine. Nate Siefker, throughout the whole season, every single oval that we go to, that you see Nate Siefker up there in the top 3. or even just the top 5 if things aren't going exactly the way that Nate plans. But we've seen it time and time again. Even if Nate Siefker doesn't exactly have the best start to the race, he will certainly work his way back up to the front. But here tonight at Atlanta, that has not been the case here. Nate Siefker is just he's taken away this lead here pretty easily, I'd have to say. And right now, the only thing he's got to do. Oh boy. All right, that was a little weird there. Apologies for that, folks, but I forgot what my point was, what I was going to say, as we had a little bit of a technical difficulty up here in the booth. But anyway, it looks like we have someone to interview here. Rick Ravon has some special guests down in pit lane. Rick, why don't you take it away here?
Down here in the pits with Ryan Cruz, who was scheduled to start the race in 24th place, and we don't know why he did not start the race, but I'm going to ask him right now. Ryan, why didn't you start the race?
Well, Rick, it was a really tough situation for me. My car was really loose in practice, and I was just trying to make laps and do what I was supposed to be doing. I kept having a lot of wrecks in practice tonight.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back to the action here at the Georgia is for Peaches 175. I do apologize for that little bit of a technical difficulty there. Not exactly sure what caused that to happen here. This seems like iRacing was a little bit unhappy here with the...
There's an engine failure.
Yeah, engine failure in the booth here. Yep, we threw a rod, and we had to do a quick engine swap here, but we're all good. We're back up and running here, and we're on lap 85. We're on lap 85 of 175 here at this point in time, and just kind of catching back up here with the action. Nate Siefker still our race leader. Chris Samard in second place. Chad Simpson in third. And look at this, Nate Siefker coming up to a little bit of lap traffic here. Not exactly sure who that is. I believe this who is that? That's the 96? Brett Beasley. Brett Beasley, 6'9".
Yeah, that's Brett Beasley in that beautifully painted race car. I need to see your feed, incidentally, Mason. So
oh yes, let me get that fixed for you there, Rick. All right, folks, and the caution has come out here, and now Discord decided to take a nap here as well. We're just having all kinds of problems up here today, right in the middle of the race here. But the caution has come out here once again, and it's Jose Vigora having a little bit of an issue here. Rick, you should be able to see things clearly once again here as we're getting things sorted back out here, folks. I apologize for all the issues here in this moment, but let's take a look at what happened here.
I'm looking at on my own replay, but watch this. Can we back it up a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's
Back
take
it up a little bit more because he was coming through the tri-oval area. That's good.
and
He was
let's-
coming through the tri-oval area, and then all of a sudden, well, it's hard to see from that angle, but he just got loose, coming through the tri-oval of all places,
Let's back things up here one more
and then
time.
torpedoed right through the grass.
Right there.
There he goes.
Right
And
before
right
the
there, he
checker,
just got
too.
loose.
Yeah. Oh, here we
You
go
see,
again, folks.
that'll happen if you dial into the plate checker. Uh-oh.
All right.
I'm still watching this. He got sideways. Now, surprising, he was on the inside of the racetrack. Surprising that the yellow came out because normally iRacing won't throw the caution unless the car is on the actual racing surface. So, not sure why iRacing throw that caution. It seems a little bit unnecessary. Chris Simard, incidentally, has the lead. Is Nate Siefker coming into the pits?
He is.
No.
He's coming out of the pits right now, actually.
Coming out of the pits. Yeah, so Siefker's in. It looks like a bunch of cars, most of them actually. It's a good time for pit stops, actually. Nate Siefker should come out with the lead, though. Chris Simard's second. Now, this is going to be interesting because everybody's going to have fresh tires. Chad Simpson comes out in third. Yari Brupatcher comes out in fourth. Tim Bates will be fifth. Bentley Glazer, sixth. Jeffrey Roulette, seventh. Mike Grandy, Jeff Hollingsworth, Dan Bracington, and that's your top 10. Taking a look back to see where Butch Davis is running. He's still, well, he's gained one lap. So now he's only a lap down, but being as though he is one of the lap cars, well, he has a choice here, Mason. He's one of the lap cars that sits behind the pace car, along with, let's see, if I could just scan forward here. Chris Walker, Kevin O'Brien, Ernie Ludwig. Ludwig, it's showing that he's on the lead lap, but these gentlemen, let's see if they come into the pits. Ludwig's going to stay out. O'Brien's coming in. Butch Davis, see, now he's going to stay out. Now, I believe what's going to happen here is Butch Davis, along with the other two cars right in front of him, Chris Walker and Ernie Ludwig, they will be allowed to come around the pace car and effectively make up a lap. And if Butch can hang in there, maybe, yellows breed yellows. You never know. Hey, don't give me that announcer curse stuff, okay? I'm just stating a fact because the cars are all close together once again, and it is a tough racetrack. It could happen. Butch Davis would be able to make up an entire lap, so he could be on his way back to the front of the field, but how is that car handling is the question after that damage. Hopefully they got it repaired, but it would be somewhat of a miracle if Butch Davis came around, picked up that lap, got a little bit more luck, picked up another lap, and then somehow ran down the leaders and came out to win this thing. But it's definitely going to be something to watch as this race goes on. 90 laps are now complete out of 175, so that's just past the halfway point. Siefker's still with the lead. Simard second. Chad Simpson third. Yari Brupatcher and Tim Bates. And that's the top five at the moment. And this is going to be interesting when we go back green. We're going to keep an eye on the cars that are following the pace car because if the lights go out on the pace car and there's one to green, they should get the wave around and make up an entire lap. But, of course, they'll be on old tires because they did not pit.
Yeah, things are definitely having a caution come out kind of right at the halfway point. It always leaves a little bit of uncertainty, I feel, for a lot of drivers that are kind of in perhaps the situation that Butch Davis is in, where you're a lap or two down and you're kind of just in that limbo stage where you're almost able to get that lap back, get what you need back, but then you have the other issue that you need to work your way back up the entire grid again once you get that lap back. It's kind of a toss-up here. So having this caution come out at this halfway point, it's a benefit, but also kind of, you're almost kind of I don't want to say banking on another caution coming out, but you're hoping that things are going to kind of play in your favor a little bit. For Butch Davis, I think that's going to be absolutely key here to be able to get that. I believe he's down. Actually, he's not as far down as I thought. He's just about a lap down here. So Butch Davis, I think you're right, Rick. I think he's definitely very capable of getting back up here and being on the lead lap, possibly being up here in the top 10, but we'll just have to keep looking here and see what he has in store here as the pace car dives down into pit road here once again. We are green flag racing here once more here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and it's Nate Siefker off the start. Very impressive work there from the number 2 machine as he continues his impressive lead here. And we have another yellow once again.
It's Brett Beasley. And it looks like Jeff Hollingsworth, Dan Bracington, they're all involved. Those 3 cars, and there's another car just up the racetrack from Bracington. Who is that? Jose Phillips. Jose Phillips. He's also involved. So 4 cars involved in this accident. And it looks like maybe Jose Phillips didn't need to get involved in this one. He could have easily missed it. Yeah, Jose actually went down on the apron to avoid it. Let's take a look at what happened here as I lose my feed to the broadcast booth. Now it's back. Okay. Well, we're looking at Jose Phillips.
Ooh.
Oh, he spun it through the grass.
Yeah, this isn't even the replay here. He just he's trying to get himself back behind the pace car. Yeah, this is live here. So let's actually get the replay up that brought out the caution here and see exactly what unfolded here. This is from Dan Brasington's perspective in the 29 machine. We're coming into turn 1 here. So we follow along here with the 29 machine of Dan Brasington. He's got... excuse me.
What happened there? Well, somebody just got clipped from behind. Wow, what in the world?
Yeah, that was a rough one here. Dan Brasington, a little bit of a checkup there. I believe that was Jeff Hollingsworth. Yes, it was. So he was getting slowed up there. Let's take things back here just one more time and see if we can ride on board here with Jeff Hollingsworth just to get a little bit of
a sideways. Yeah.
So let's see here. Let's ride on board.
Are we riding with Hollingsworth?
Oh, yeah. We're going to be riding with Hollingsworth here, and then we'll get
I apologize. I don't know the paint schemes that well.
It's
right,
okay.
Going into the corner, get sideways. Obviously, yeah, that's what happened. That's what happened. He got a little bit sideways, which, of course, slowed him down. Totally unexpected from the drivers behind, and that's why he got drilled from behind. It's very hard to slow these cars down. If you do jump on the binders, as they say, that in itself can get the car sideways. So you try to breathe on it. But there was really nothing that the drivers behind could do. That's just very unfortunate. But Jeff Hollingsworth, a very solid racer. You don't really expect him to make any mistakes. He maybe just hold on. Car number 7 got loose. I'm getting the report from the officials. Let's see who's going to be assigned, if there's going to be any penalties involved here. Michael Bourne, incidentally, is the official who's handling these penalties. I didn't hear any penalties out of that, so it looks like there's no penalties going on right there. And I think we just lost our feed again. Oh, this is not good.
Nope. I'm switching things around here a little bit, Rick, up here because we're still having a little bit of technical challenges that we're overcoming.
Thunderstorms in your area? Tornadoes? Something going on?
Well, it doesn't look like it at the moment, but
I lost my feed to you, incidentally, just to let you know.
If you should be able to pull it back up again if you double check it. It should still be there.
It is. It's back. It's back. Well, while we're under caution, I do want to point out, earlier I mentioned that Chad Simpson, he's got a mother like most of us. Well, hopefully. My mother's no longer here with us, but Chad Simpson's mother was very upset that I got the call wrong. I said that Butch painted his car, and it was actually Chad who painted his own car. Well, earlier, I went into the garage area, the FBR garage, and I found Ryan. I says, yeah, Ryan, I'm going to apologize to your mother, but do me a favor. Let me know. Send me a text sometime around lap 55 to let me know, to remind me. And sure enough, I'm looking in the chat right now, live on YouTube. He said, hey, Rick, I sent you a messenger text. So during the race, Ryan Cruz actually sent me a messenger text to remind me to apologize to his mom. And, of course, his mother's watching the broadcast as well. Goes by the name Babs. If you're watching, you can go there and communicate with her. She said, thanks for the correction. She was laughing about it. She said, you guys are doing a great broadcast tonight. And thank you very much for that, Mrs. Simpson. Much appreciated here, the Team Goon Squad crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always a great thing to have drivers, friends of drivers, family members all coming together to share in the experiences that these drivers have in their races that they compete in. It's always great to have a community within these leagues all coming together for not only just for these broadcasts but for these races in general. It's always just great to see the community come out and show their support for these drivers in the sim racing community, as really this is this is an outlet for a lot of drivers, for a lot of people. This is the way that they let their inner sportsman come out.
Okay, so we are back live. Still having technical difficulties. We apologize for that, but that's okay. It does happen. It happens in the the big time, ABC, CBS, NBC, ESPN. I don't care who it is. HBO. They've even had difficulties at times. The good news is it's the first time that it's happened this season. We've had a solid broadcast, but meanwhile, we've got to point out Nate Siefker and Chris Simard have just been battling back and forth. I'll try to paint as good a picture as I can for you fine people out there. Siefker crossing the start-finish line right now. He's on the low side of the racetrack. Chris Simard is up high. Simard is trying to get around Nate. They head through turn 1. They head through turn 2. Nate stays down low. Chris Simard looks high on the backstretch. Nate Siefker once again on the inside of the racetrack trying desperately to protect that lead, but Simard is all over him, and Simard running the high line might be saving his tires a little bit better than Siefker, and I think sooner or later he might be able to get by. Meanwhile, in third place, Yari Brudpatcher runs, and he's half second behind this battle for the lead, Timothy Bates. But here comes Chris Simard now finally to the inside of Nate Siefker, and Chris Simard going into turn 3 picks up the lead. Siefker now dives it down low as they come off turn 4. Siefker looks for the draft. It's a shame you can't see this. Siefker shoots to the inside. Siefker on the inside, and Siefker picks up the lead going into turn 1. Timothy Bates, 0.4 of a second behind Yari Brudpatcher. Battle for the lead continues. Chad Simpson, Bentley Glazer are running right together as well. And Chris Simard and Nate Siefker almost touched going into turn number 3. Siefker was on the inside. Simard was up high, and it was real close. I can't believe we can't see this. It is a darn shame. This is an incredible battle for the lead.
Oh, we're back up now.
We've had all day.
We're back up and live here, folks, with the video. I do apologize for all the technical difficulties here.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault, Mason. Don't worry about it. Just get my feedback up so I can see what the folks are seeing at home. I just need to see that really quick as we're watching still the battle for the lead. Side by side once again, Simard and Siefker. Can they continue to trade back and forth? That is the question. Just ahead of them, Jose Miguel Phillips Vigura. He is the slower traffic that the two leaders are going to have to deal with here in just a few seconds, and they're closing up on him pretty quickly. As you can see right there, it seems like the TV view is mostly on the inside of the racetrack. Hard to gauge from that point. But here comes Nate Siefker and Chris Simard. Let's see. I'm trying to see where Jose Miguel... Yeah, he's right in front of him there. So you're going to see them come up pretty quickly. Now, Siefker, Simard, Yari Brudpatcher. He has been closing in on the two leaders as Tim Bates is also closing in, and Bentley Glazer. Chad Simpson is right there, too, not too far behind. So the leaders are kind of compressing each other right now. Siefker on the outside. He tries to get around Jose Phillips, and he's going to do it. So he's going to lap Jose Phillips, and Chris Simard just fell back just a little bit. Simard now drops back a half a second behind Siefker. What is Siefker's secret? How does he do it? I just can't believe Siefker he knows how to win these races. He knows how to lead, and he knows how to stay in the lead as the leaders come around that slower car of Jose Phillips. Let's see. Let's go back up to the leader. I'm going to get to the debates myself. My stream is just closed. Oh, is that what it is? Oh. Wow. Well, that's too bad. Okay. All right. Well, I'm not sure what the folks at home are seeing, but yellow flag. Yellow flag. We've got a yellow.
Yellow is out here, folks. It's going to be Jose Vigura involved in this one, I do believe. Let's see if we can get a replay up of what happened here for Jose. As we take a look here of the 48 machine going into turn 1, he's right on the apron there. 2 tires down on the inside. Keeps it, goes back up on top of the track there, but look at that. Gets a little bit unsettled, comes right back down. Onto the apron? I'm not exactly sure what's going on here. Oh, there he goes. Loses that rear end. He goes spinning around sideways into turn 2. back up the racetrack into the center line. There's no one else around him, so he's going to be safe from that one. It's just going to be a self-spin on that one here as we have our leaders coming down into pit road. Nate Siefker, Chris Simard, Yari Patcher, the whole field taking advantage of the yellow here and are going to come down here into pit road on this caution here as we continue with our coverage here. Lap 113 of 175 here, and it's our 6th caution of the race here. It's been quite the race as well, even though we've had a couple issues up here in the booth, not able to cover exactly everything that we'd like to as we intend to. But right now, the racing has been fairly exciting for these drivers here. Nate Siefker has shown an incredible amount of pace throughout this race and really has, man, I'm wondering if he's going to see kind of any competition going in towards the end of this race here.
Well, you know, you could see how desperate Nate was to hold on to the lead. It wasn't, we're not at the end of the race yet. You don't normally race that hard, but Nate knows if you get behind somebody, the arrow push that you get to the car is just devastating. So Nate was really trying desperately to stay in the lead so he could have that clean air. As long as you could stay in the lead, obviously it's much easier. You could flat-foot it around this place and not worry about, skating up the racetrack. But Chris Simard, he's going to do everything he can on his restart to take that lead away from Nate, but on the fresh tires, Nate will just come right back at him. Yari Brutpatcher runs in 3rd, then it's Chad Simpson and Bentley Glazer. Taking a glance here at Butch Davis, he runs in 9th place. So on the lead lap, again, we don't know what his car is like, but we bring it up because it's a point of interest. He was the points leader for most of the season until Nate took it over just a couple of races ago. So Butch still has a shot at this thing, but he is in the dirty air. Nate is going to try to hang on to that clean air as much as he possibly can. He's got the slower car of Kevin O'Brien right in front of him. O'Brien should get the wave around. And incidentally, the report now comes from the officials that Jose Phillips is being parked for the day. He caused 2 incidents out there, and that's what it takes. So there was strike 2, and he's out. He's done for the day, Mason.
Well, that is, we kind of half expected that, Rick. Towards the beginning of the race, we were talking about it. We were going to see a few drivers that are probably going to find themselves out of the race because of just really how uncertain Atlanta can be. You know, it's a very tricky and temperamental track to race on, and we said it right at the beginning that we were going to see a few drivers find themselves out of the race due to racing incidents, and here it is. Right now, it looks like currently still on the lead lap. It is 11 drivers total, but we do still have 13 drivers still out on track currently. So still a good chunk of our field left here, but just about half of what we started with at the beginning.
Well, while we're under yellow flag, we might as well get the sponsor plugs. Deepest apologies to those who are anxiously waiting to find out what's going on in this race, but I'm going to fill you in right now. Chris Simard and Nate Siefker were going at it back and forth, tooth and toenail, as they say. Chris Simard comes up behind Chris Walker, no factor in the race at this point. Walker 18 laps down, running in 14th place. Chris Simard finally took the lead away from Nate Siefker. So a chink in Siefker's armor. Siefker begins to fall back. His tires were toast through that battle with Chris Simard. Simard now has the lead. He's got a 1 second lead, and he is slowly pulling away from Siefker. Yari Brutpatcher runs 2 seconds back from the leader in 3rd place. Chad Simpson 3 seconds back from the leader. Bentley Glazer runs in 5th place, and he's 3.5 seconds behind the leader of the race, Chris Simard. Bentley Glazer, 5th place. Chad Simpson, 4th, and they are separated by only 0.3 of a second. And that appears to be the closest fight on the racetrack right now, as Nate Siefker is now 1.2 seconds behind the leader, and he continues to fall. Meanwhile, Butch Davis runs in 9th place. He's 13.7 seconds, now 13.8 behind the leader. He is definitely suffering from that damage he suffered when he clipped the wall in turn number 2, and it appears as though we have our live feed back. Let's hope that we can stay with this throughout the remainder of this race.
Fingers crossed.
We have just under 40 laps to go, I believe. Let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 30. We have 32 laps to go in this race. And if Mason is back and running, we'll let Mason take it from here. Are you here, Mason?
Indeed, I am, Rick. After a little bit of an aneurysm here for myself on the booth, we're back, and we're thankfully, hopefully, going to see this race all the way until the checkered flag. Now, kind of just getting myself caught back up here as getting things fixed back up here, but Chris Samard, Yari Bupatcher, Chad Simpson, Siefker also coming down into pit road here. Lap 146 of 175
in
here.
that beautiful white car.
Yeah.
as the paints continue to load once you've restarted your computer.
Yeah.
You're in.
Gotta love that, kind of doing things a little on the fly here. But look at this. Chris Samard in the 77 going to come down here into pit road. That's going to give Yari Bupatcher the lead, with Bentley Glazer following just behind in second place. And Chad Simpson also following here into pits as well.
Well, Chris Samard has got to cover what Nate Siefker is doing. He does not want Nate Siefker to go out there on fresh tires while Samard is on the old tires, because Nate Siefker would easily make up that ground that he was losing to Samard. So because Samard came in right after Nate, I would imagine the gap will probably be pretty close to where it was when they first came into the pits. We're watching as he comes out of the pits right now. We'll see how this shakes out. Nate Siefker now running in 8th, moves up to 7th now as we have other cars coming into the pits. No, I'm sorry. Ernie Ludwig is actually one. We have a spin. We have a spin on the backstretch. There's a spin on the backstretch.
It's Chris
it looks
Samard.
like it's Chris Samard. I can't believe it. Chris Samard, did he lose it coming out of the pits?
Let's take a look at the replay here of the 77 making his way out of pit road here. He's right on the white line with those right-hand tires here. Let's see what happens.
There's a bump right there that I pointed out before the race. Now, remember, this is a green flag stop, and there's a little bit of pressure. Samard is definitely under pressure as he wanted to maintain the lead, and there it goes. There goes the back end of the car. Around it goes, and let's see now if he's going to make contact with the inside wall. Oh, he definitely does. Oh, he's definitely damaged that 77 car. Oh,
Yeah,
what a shame for Chris Samard.
You can see the rear wing.
Can anything go wrong for Nate Siefker at this point? Everything this kid touched turns to gold. And once again, his toughest competitor, Chris Samard, is going to fall by the wayside in a way of being in contention for the win here and taking away a win from Nate Siefker. Nate Siefker, of course, we pointed out earlier, he's going for 4 wins in a row. And he's in real good shape to do it. Currently runs in 5th place, but Yari Bupatcher has yet to pit. He's on lap 38. You would expect him to be coming in. Dan Bracington calls out now. He's going to be coming into the pits. Bentley Glazer runs in 2nd. Jeffrey Roulette is 3rd. Butch Davis runs in 4th place. Boy, I'll bet that Butch wishes he could at least stay up to 4th place. Glazer's also calling out that he's coming into the pits. So as the current leaders come into the pits, that should cycle Nate Siefker back up to the lead of the race. And Siefker's challenger is going to be Chad Simpson. But Simpson is a few seconds behind Nate Siefker. I'm watching the telemetry. I'm watching the timing screen to see if Nate is going to have any challengers. We've only got about 23 laps to go here. Chad Simpson is the closest one to Siefker, but Siefker, if there's no more yellow flags, might have another one in the bag.
Yeah, Siefker here, definitely one of the strong competitors here for the Georgia is for Peaches 175 here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And, man, Rick, we've seen it already throughout this race. We've seen multiple very strong competitors in this series get wiped out, whether it's from just lone self spins or from other incidents involving other drivers. Butch Davis, one of them. Chris Walker, Chris Samard. Actually, no, I take that back. Chris Samard was not involved in one of those. But either way, we've seen plenty of incidents that have kind of led to Nate Siefker being able to stay up here in the front and not have any competition to worry about. He's got himself a very comfortable gap right now between Chad Simpson, who once he passes Jeffrey Rollett and Yari Bupatcher here, down in pit road coming out of turn 1 now. Nate Siefker really is not going to have a whole lot left to do here with 21 laps left to go and just about 5.5 seconds separating himself in second place, Chad Simpson.
And Jari Brubpatcher goes around in turn 2. And Jari Brubpatcher's going to, it looks like he may have hit the wall. Let me go back and see if he did hit the wall on my screen. And he came around, and yes, he did. With the left front of the car, he did brush the wall. And again, the pits, maybe we could scan forward a little bit. Just kind of skip through this pit stop, if it's possible. I believe I'm looking at the right feed here. There's back to Nate Siefker, the leader of the race.
I'm sorry, what were we doing there? I was getting a message from OBS telling me it disconnected again, and it gave me a little bit of a scare, Rick. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little antsy up here in the booth right now.
Well, who could blame you? I mean, I don't know if you, you know, who your doctor is, but if anybody needs a Xanax right now, it's you. You were having a heart attack there when the feed dropped out 3 times, I think, tonight, and it's just been a nightmare for you. I feel for you, buddy.
It's been rough, Rick, but we're chugging along here, folks. I hope that even despite all of the challenges that we've had up here in the booth, just trying to bring you tonight's coverage of tonight's race, it's been fun to watch. It's been fun to really watch these guys take it around Atlanta Motor Speedway. We've seen quite a few good battles throughout this race. We've had a couple battles that Rick had the opportunity to kind of walk you guys through, kind of in a radio perspective, if you will. Not something that we normally do here on YouTube, but either way,
I learned that from Paul Page, incidentally, the greatest voice of the 500 of all times.
Yeah, you know, and really that's how a lot of racing fans start, is listening to the radio. As there is, you know, it's always great when you have a commentator that is able to portray action without having any sort of visual aid there to help you see what is actually happening. So a lot of great commentators from the radio world that have, like myself, been a great inspiration to put on these races. But anyway, enough jibber jabber from that. Right now, just looking at Butch Davis, currently trying to track down Ernie Ludwig here with only 15 laps to go. Rick, you know, we kind of talked about Butch throughout this race a little bit, and he had that little bit of woes towards the beginning of the race, having slapped the wall coming out of turn 2, and right now he's still holding on to 6th place. What do you think?
Almost in 5th.
Almost in 5th. What do you think Butch is gonna end up here tonight? Do you think he's gonna crack himself into the top 5 here before we see the checker come out?
Well, you know, Ernie Ludwig is no slouch, especially on an oval track. And if Ernie Ludwig's car is 100% and Butch's is, I don't know, 90%, Butch is going to have his hands full with Ludwig. Ludwig is actually pulling away from Butch just a little bit as we speak. So I just can't see Butch, the condition that his car is in, running down Ludwig. But I'll tell you what, a top 6 finish after what he's been through is just short of a miracle.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. That, you know, it could have turned out a lot worse for Butch Davis. You know, if we're calling back to that incident specifically, if I remember correctly, Butch almost lost that 43 machine. He almost sent it into the bottom wall. He was able to recover it just in time and keep it on the bottom of the racetrack. But yeah, that was a very close call for Butch Davis, and he was, personally, I think he was lucky to only walk away with just a little bit of tire damage, as it would seem.
Yeah, that's really a shame. I'm gonna go down to the pits. It looks like Chris Simard is getting out of his car. Let me see if I can. Maybe we can have a little chat with Simard.
And as Rick Ravon heads on down into pit lane to see if we can get a word with the 77 driver of Chris Simard. We're just taking a few laps around here with Nate Siefker, currently our race leader still. Nate Siefker has led the majority of, well, actually, I think he has led the entirety of this race here for the most part. But let's head on down to Rick in pit road.
I'm with Chris Simard. Chris, you were leading the race. You were battling with Nate Siefker. It was a scintillating battle. I mean, it was just back and forth, back and forth. You finally figured out how to get around him and hang on to the lead. And then you made your pit stop. And then all of a sudden, coming out of the pits, tell us what happened.
Oh, I just gassed it up a little too hard there. I'm pretty dejected because I thought I was going to win this thing tonight, and I'm dejected that I have to talk to you guys with in this way. Nothing against you guys, but it's I'm a little embarrassed for spitting out too. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, it looked like once you got in front of him, you started pulling away. What was your thought process as you were battling with Nate? And then once you finally got around, did you know, okay, well, my tires are fresher? Was that the plan all along?
I was just trying to get away from him. We were battling a couple of lap cars, and at least one. And I was just trying to get away from him. And then I was going to go in. I was going in that lap, and Nate beat me in, so I was going to go in. And I did the pit entrance perfect, but pit exit was not good.
You're feeling the pressure, right? You wanted to get out as soon as possible, as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I saw him go by, so I just it was just stupidity on my part. But all in all, I had a good race. I got to hold my head up high and get him next week. So.
Yeah, you did fantastic. I mean, you were the only one who was able to run Nate down and actually get around him. Nate's pretty much got this thing locked up. Listen, thanks for joining us, and better luck next week at Homestead.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you. All right, that was Chris Simard. Back to Mason up in the booth.
Right
It
now,
looks like we only have 5 laps to go, Mason.
indeed we do. 5 laps left to go as Nate Siefker comes out of turn 2 down the back straight here. You know, this race really it's had a few up and down moments. We had a little bit of moment there where Nate Siefker.
Oh, quickly, let's drop back to 5th place. This is important. Sorry to interrupt, but
it's all right.
Davis comes around Ernie Ludwig and picks up 5th place. We were talking about this earlier. We've only got, I think 3 laps to go. I said, I don't know if he could do it because of the damage, but all of a sudden, Butch Davis found the speed, and he might find his way into the top 5. Nate Siefker continues to lead this race by almost 4 seconds over Chad Simpson. Bentley Glazer is 3rd. Kevin O'Brien called out. Jack Turner is 4th, and Butch Davis is looking for a top 5 after all he's been through today.
Yeah, and look at this. Down the back straight, he's able to get himself just enough room in front of that 26 of Ernie Ludwig.
Beats him that dirty air.
Gets him right in front and out of turn 4. It's Butch Davis out in front of Ernie Ludwig here. And Ernie still looking to try and find some room here going into turn 1. He's going to see if he could try and wiggle his way down on the inside here. But Butch Davis, he's got a little bit of saved. Yeah, he's got a little bit of speed saved left in that 43 machine here with only 2 laps left to go here. So, Butch Davis here, he's really itching to keep himself in this top 5, and I don't think he's going to let Ernie have it easily here in this final couple battles of laps.
No, he definitely isn't. Butch Davis is one of the hardest people in the world to get around. I mean, it's possible he's driving with an ailing race car. Ernie Ludwig really has his hands full if he wants to get 5th place back from Butch, but Butch is absolutely determined to keep that car right where it is and stay in 5th place as he sticks it around the high side, the petty line. He should be able to maintain 5th place, but the white flag comes out. Nate Siefker has just 1 lap to go. And there he is. Is this there's the white flag. Let me see. Let me make sure I'm live here.
The checkered flag is flown.
Yep, that was the checkered flag. And Nate Siefker picks up the win in Atlanta. It's 4 in a row for Nate Siefker. Can you believe it? Chad Simpson comes across the line in 2nd place. There's the tribute. Well, we're looking at Butch right there as they are still fighting, and Butch is going to come across the line in 5th. Let's back it up, Jack Turner. Jack Turner, a great day for Jack Turner. He finishes in 4th. Bentley Glazer is going to bring his car number 4 home in 3rd place. But Nate Siefker, once again, the man of the day. This has got to be a record for SRE. I'll have to check the record books, but I believe nobody has won 4 races in a row, but Nate Siefker got the job done as he heads once again for the start-finish line. And let the donuts begin.
A well-earned victory for Nate Siefker. That was impressive racing through and through for the number 2 driver here today at Atlanta Motor Speedway. For the Georgia is for Peaches 175, brought to you by ecency.com. And Rick, actually, I do recall that we were going to do sponsor plugs earlier throughout the race, but we had some technical difficulties that prevented us from doing that. But I want to take this moment here just real quickly to thank all of our sponsors here for today's race: eSync.com, SimMotion, and as well Sim Racer's Edge. So as we get ready to start our post-race interviews for today's race, I gotta say, Rick, this was pretty exciting through and through. And right now, as we're getting our drivers up here and ready for their interviews, I gotta say, towards the beginning of the race, I was kind of hoping that we were going to see some battles for the lead towards the end, but Nate Siefker ultimately just finding all of his opponents just slowly being picked off one by one through one reason or another.
Well, let's go to victory lane right now and find out. we've got the amazing Nate Siefker. They call him Shoey. I don't know if he wants to drink the champagne from the shoe this week. I don't think it's his week to do that, but Nate Siefker pulls it off once again. He's got to be riding a natural high. He's pouring the champagne over his head. He's dousing himself. He's got to be one hot driver behind the wheel of that car number 2. Nate, can I get you for just a second here? Nate?
Yeah, I suppose.
Okay, Nate, listen, man, that was a fantastic job. I mean, you started the race well back in, I think it was 10th or 11th place, and the yellow came out, and you decided to stay out. You were taking somewhat of a risk there, but it all worked out for you. Tell us about your day.
That first, when I stayed out there, I figured we didn't do enough green flag laps to make a difference on the tires, so I went ahead and stayed out, and prayed that we got a yellow long enough. Hope that it went long enough, and then we get a yellow at some point in the stint, which we did get. So good deal there, and that kept me up front the rest of the night. After that really long green flag run we had in the center there of the race, I was a lap away from pitting. If that yellow didn't come out that lap, I was pitting with Jose Spin. So glad we got the yellow there. A little luck's involved in these types of races every now and then, and thankfully the cards kind of fell in our favor, at least.
Yeah, they most certainly did. Tell us about that battle that you had up there with Chris Samard. I mean, nobody was really able to run you down. You're running defensive, and it seemed like you knew just how to stay in the lead. And all of a sudden, here comes Samard.
Yeah, that was pretty fun racing with him there. That was an incredible
I'll
battle
bet.
to have.
Looked fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was kind of a chess match.
Fun to watch.
The top going to be better here. Is the bottom going to be better here? When can I get in front of you? How can I slide you? Chris almost had a slide job that we barely scraped by on each other. I had a case where I had a slide job. We barely scraped by each other. So that was really fun having that, that battle with him, knowing that we both clean, capable drivers. So it's always fun when you go toe to toe with somebody like that. Sucks that he had that pit road issue there. I knew I had to be the first one to blink, or else I was gonna not win the race. So I knew I had to be first, and thankfully nobody else pitted in front of me to start the chain. And thankfully, I think I was the quickest one cone to cone that pit stop. When I looked, so that was good progress there. And the little things win races, and thankfully we did that right tonight.
Well, there's no doubt about that. And we were just about to mention, we saw you guys touch a couple of times. One time, pretty serious in turn 3. One of you actually shot up the racetrack. And then all of a sudden, Chris got around you and started pulling away. Were you thinking, uh-oh? I mean, what was going through your mind at that time?
Once he got by me and stayed in front, then it was, okay, what lap do I need to pit to keep
Were you surprised?
No, I wasn't surprised. I knew it was going to be one of those cases. Whoever got the best run, it could stay in front one corner, was going to have it. It just happened to be him. But yeah, I think that from there it was figuring out what lap was the fall off really hitting on during our long runs. And then once, we got to that lap, it was, all right, we're pitting. We made the call. We were pretty aggressive on pit in and pit out there, and, getting, 3 seconds clear, actually 5 seconds clear. We had to save a little fuel. We underfilled a little bit. But once we did that, got that far in front, and then Chris, whatever problem happened with him, I'm not sure. But once we got there, it was pretty smooth sailing from there.
Well, it was a 3.2 second lead you had on Chad when you crossed the line. 4 wins in a row. We look ahead now to Homestead, Miami. Is that a good racetrack for you?
I'd say Homestead's a fair track, but it's just like here, air is king. You get in front, you win the race. It rewards you. It's pretty much the same track almost. You sketchy pit in, pit out, rewards you for knowing how to place the car correctly, stuff like that. So it's a lot of the same. So I guess in that sense, yeah, it should be hopefully a good race for me.
Speaking of which, you say clean air is king. It's important to be out in front. What happened in qualifying? We didn't expect to see you so far back there.
I didn't have the 1 lap pace tonight. I don't know what it was. I didn't really have the greatest dirty air pace too. So thankfully, that's part of the reason why we stayed out there. That first when everybody pitted was, I was like, I need track position is gonna be king here. I gotta try to do what I can with it. So thankfully, those things fell into place. I don't know how it would have been all night if I had dirty air to contend with. But thankfully, we didn't have to deal with it too much tonight.
Well, you've got 4 in a row now. You look ahead to Homestead, Miami. You've already set a record in the series. Nobody's ever won 4 races in a row. That's just incredible. We're looking forward to seeing what happens next week in Homestead, Miami, as you chase that 5 in a row. The drive for 5, I guess we're going to be calling it. Congratulations, and it's time for you to give your thanks and your shout-outs.
I want to thank you guys up here for being in the booth. It's awesome to have this to watch back on every Thursday night when I get the chance. Although FP1 is going to be starting here in about 45 minutes, so we probably won't be watching right away. Thank all the guys that come out here and run. Really appreciate all of them that come out here. I want to thank my admin staff as well. Butch, Chris, and Dan, they do an excellent job through the week getting all this prepared for us. So great job to them. And I want to thank, of course, my sponsors, Midwest Kidney Warriors. They awesome to have them on the side of the car again. We're continuing to win. As long as we do that, we'll be just fine. So just win, baby, I guess, as the Raiders say.
Well, congratulations again, Nate. Fantastic job, and we will see you next week as you go for 5 in a row.
All right, thank you.
All right, Nate Siefker, everybody. Let's go down to Mason Heimball. He's down in the pit area with a pretty happy Chad Simpson. Mason?
Chad, sir, coming home second place tonight. It was very interesting watching both yourself as well as Chris Simard duke it out there for quite some time, and ultimately found yourselves a little bit separated, but kind of walk me through what it was like having that battle there with Chris Simard for a few laps, and ultimately what was your game plan to hold on to the second place spot and take home a podium for tonight's race?
Oh, we basically got handed a podium. Samard and Yari both took themselves out. I was trying to fight back. I made a call 85 to go or so to pit. We were like right on the edge of a fuel window, and we had quite a bit of green flag running up to that point. So I gave up the track position, filled it up, and I was going for a fuel strategy, and it didn't work out. I ended up having to just kind of fight my way back ever since then. Yellows were a little inconsistent with when Mikey was deciding to throw them, so it was kind of catching me off guard a lot. But overall, it was a fairly fun race. I made a little miscalculation on the last stop, and I underfilled the car by probably about half a lap, and I didn't catch that till I think 7 to go. So I ended up having to go into fuel save and never really had a chance to give anything to try and catch Nate.
Yeah, absolutely. And both myself and Rick were talking at the beginning of the broadcast and speculating on how just kind of difficult it'll be to kind of stay out on a track like Atlanta. Now, we saw quite a few drivers find themselves either down in the pits due to a self-spin or involved in a wreck with other drivers. Did you have a feeling that you might be one of those drivers, or were you feeling pretty confident coming tonight into Atlanta?
I had done a few little mock starts. I knew that it was not super comfortable going into one, and that they had a tendency to kind of light up the rear tires whenever you got onto the gas. So I ran the car super tight on the first half a lap, and I was pretty comfortable with that. And the only time that I was a little worried was after that stop, restarting back in 10th, after we had just had an incident back there. It's a little nerve-wracking being back there where something had just happened, but luckily we got through that.
Yeah, absolutely. It was definitely very interesting to see a lot of strong drivers. Butch Davis, one of them that we saw early on in the race, come out of turn two just a little bit too hot and find
Yeah,
himself
I
smacking the
yelled
wall.
at him on the radio when he hit the wall. I'm like, Butch, stop screwing up your races.
Well, I'm glad that all the drivers were paying attention to that and all caught that one as well. Because both myself and Rick were both kind of caught off guard from Butch doing that. But Chad, I gotta congratulate you on taking home a podium. You said it yourself; it was kind of handed to you, but you fought hard for it, and it was definitely well deserved. And kind of going towards the end there, it almost looked like you might have even had the speed to possibly catch Nate Seeker if he had a few more laps to work with. But Nate Seeker, obviously a very strong and very competitive driver here in this series. But coming home with a second place win, Chad, I can't imagine a better way to end a race here tonight. But I want to give you this time to thank your sponsors, thank anyone at home watching the broadcast, or anyone in your pit crew for helping you in your race tonight.
Yeah, I'm not really doing anything different than what I did last season to win the championship. I'm finishing up front, and it's just I finished second, they finishes first. So you can't beat someone if you just lose points to them every week. So congratulations to Nate on the championship. Thank you to Satellite Racing, FBR Motorsports, Simic Madness, Else Engineering, Nemesis Lab, EaSency.com, our sponsor for the series, SimMotion, Sim Racers Edge, the admin team, Team Goon Squad, the broadcast. I heard maybe there were some issues, some technical things, so thanks for sticking to that. And again, the fan club. Thank you to the fan club for watching.
Absolutely. Well, Chad, thank you for coming up here and joining us in the booth, and congratulations again on taking home second, and good luck to you going into Homestead, Miami on the 21st.
And thanks, guys. We'll see how Miami goes.
Absolutely, Chad. Have a great night.
See you.
All right, that's Chad Simpson out of the booth, taking home second place for today's race in the 42 machine. Up next, last but certainly not least, Bentley Glazer taking home third place in the number 4 machine. Rick, why don't you take us away here?
Bentley is Rick Ravon up in the booth. Can you read us?
Yep, I got you, Rick.
Whoa, we got to turn his volume up a little bit. Bentley, we didn't really hear much from you for this entire race, focusing on the leaders and focusing on Butch Davis, the former points leader. You just kind of quietly snuck your way up into the top 3. Tell us about your race.
I just pretty much, kind of try to stay out of trouble, I guess. I was just following along Chad there and trying to learn. I just, I can't get the thing to really work behind people, so I'm still working on that.
Well, this was definitely a good race for you. I'm taking a look back. I want to see where you are in the point standings. You were 7th. You were 7th in the point standings. I don't know if they updated. It doesn't look like they did. Let me see. But no. Actually, they have updated. That's one thing I do love about SRE besides the racing is they are right on top of things. The points have been updated. You are now you've moved up 2 spots into 5th place in the points. You're only looks like 8 seconds. Yeah, what are we on the racetrack still? You're only 8 points behind Jeffrey Roulette, so that's got to be a good feeling heading down into Homestead, Miami.
Oh, definitely. I've done all right this season. I'm still really learning. I feel like a rookie every time, and I'm really nervous before each race. So it's fun. I
know the feeling.
Do the stock car thing. So then when I come here, I feel like a noob, and I feel I'm in people's way sometimes, but I'm learning.
Well, you're doing a great job out there. There's no question about it. And I don't know what else to ask you. You got anything for this guy?
Bentley, ultimately I don't have a whole lot of questions for you, but at the start I did notice that number 4 machine had a pretty good launch off the start, and you were able to keep yourself up here in relatively the top 10 and ultimately taking home 3rd place here tonight, Bentley. But going into Miami, wait, you already asked him that, didn't you, Rick?
I think I may have.
I think you did. I think you did.
My short-term memory isn't that great. So.
Well,
I did mention Homestead.
You did. You did mention Homestead.
I think I might have answered a 2-parter and didn't say anything about Homestead. I don't know about Homestead. It'll be fun for sure.
Wait, I have a question. Do you like Homestead? Is it a good racetrack for you?
I like that track. Yeah, it's a good one. A lot
Oh,
of
there you
lines
go.
usually. Yeah, and I just want to thank my teammates at OGR, and thanks Tim Bates.
So, is there anybody you'd like to thank?
I just wanted to, sorry. I just didn't want to forget this one part because I want to thank Tim Bates for letting me drive this Purple Hearts Homes car, this paint job. I was just excited to say that because I'd forget.
Well, he never lets anybody drive that car, so that's definitely a privilege.
Yeah, it's awesome, and
You should thank him.
Yeah, and I had like a 10th place car. Just people kept having trouble in front of me. So
Yeah, it seemed like that was the way to play it in this race. If you weren't one of the front runners, you just kind of had to hang back and just wait for stuff to happen and hope to move up. So you did a heck of a good job. So you've already thanked somebody, a couple of people. Anybody else you want to thank before we let you go?
thank you guys for broadcasting, and thanks SRE for having me.
And that'll conclude this interview with Bentley Glazer. Great job. We'll see you next week at Homestead, Miami.
Thank you.
All right. That's Bentley Glazer, your third place finisher here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Mason, this was one of those races where you just did not know what was going to happen because of the nature of the racetrack, because of the slippery surface, the trouble getting out of the pits, plenty of action, plenty of wrecks as well. And, a few surprises with Butch Davis finishing back there in the field. But it's really no surprise to see Nate Siefker win another one.
Definitely not. Nate Siefker obviously coming again to another strong win here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Nate Siefker, obviously the Oval King that I will decide to name him here for the Sim Racer's Edge until a new champion is crowned. But Nate Siefker here is currently the guy to beat. And I think going forward, he will continue to do so if he continues to have the success that he's had here thus far. So, an excellent race for Nate Siefker, and, maybe not quite the best race for some other drivers, but either way, it was action-packed. We had a lot of really strong racing here tonight, and it was really great to see, Rick. So, I look forward to going to Homestead, Miami, where things will hopefully heat up even more.
Yeah, well, I have a question for you. Is it possible for you to pull up the current point standings? Because I want to point out that Nate Siefker has just extended his lead over Butch Davis, who finished in 5th place. So now he has a 45-point lead over Davis. But look at this. Nipping at the heels of Davis is Chad Simpson. Chad Simpson is only 5 points behind Butch Davis. So it's kind of tightening between second and third, but Nate Siefker continues to pull away.
Yeah, and as I'm working to get that pulled up here for you folks so we can get a look at what is up here on our screens here. So let's take a look here. Just one more moment here. Bear with.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting to see once Mason is able to pull it up, because I'm also looking at the bonus points. Nate Siefker has more bonus points, and of course that's like leading the most laps, the pole position, and things like that. Nate Siefker actually has 37 bonus points, Butch Davis with 20, Chad Simpson has 22, Roulette has 11, Bentley Glazer has 12. But there's your points. You could see them right there. Siefker, Davis, Simpson, Roulette, and Bentley Glazer. We just talked to him. He moves up to 5th place. And then Chris Samard, Lyle Swearingen, Kevin O'Brien, Dan Bracington, Ernie Ludwig, and that's your top 10 as you see it right there. So as we wrap things up here, we've got to say once again, congratulations to Nate Siefker, who pulls off the, what do you call it, four-peat? He brings home the victory, and followed by, of course, Chad Simpson and Bentley Glazer. We hope that you've enjoyed this running of the SRE Georgia is for Peaches 175 at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and we hope that you'll join us next week as we head to Homestead, Miami. For Mason Heimball, I'm Rick Ravon saying thanks for joining us, and so long from Atlanta Motor Speedway.